Hey YouTube, this is Paul the Death Scouter making another video for my Death Scouter all one word YouTube channel where I've got a ton of great financial advice videos, including my 15-day financial overhaul program. Like and subscribe. I guarantee you'll find something that you'll either value and or find interesting. Today we're doing a financial video asking the question, what are the top reasons that keep me from being rich? So Americans, you're making money. I don't care what level of income you have. I don't care what standard of living you have. The problem is that you're not keeping enough of your money for yourself. In fact, you probably end the month wondering, where did all the money go? Well, let's take a look and understand, starting with what does it mean to even be wealthy? So wealth is really not a factor of what do you drive, where do you live, what kind of clothes do you wear, how much jewelry do you have. That's all fluff. Money is not wealth. How much do you have left over is wealth. So let me ask the question this way. Are you running out of money before you run out of month? Or do you have some money left over at the end of the month? So one of them is a pathway to not being wealthy, and the other is a pathway to growing wealth and becoming wealthy. What does it mean to be wealthy? Well, let me ask you this question. If you stopped working today at whatever level of income, whatever standard of living you're accustomed to, how long could you survive? And if you can survive, then you're wealthy. And if you can't survive, then you're not wealthy. And that's what we need to focus on, is how to get more left over. And then what do we do with that money to make us wealthy in the first place? So first thing we got to investigate is the Americans, we're just terrible savers. 61% of Americans have less than $1,000 cash in the bank. They could not put their hands on $1,000 cash in the event of an emergency. That is simply unacceptable and bad habits. First thing we need to do, save that first thousand. And I guarantee you, when you can save one, the next two or three come even easier. The other thing that Americans do to keep us from getting wealthy, we live on borrowed money, and there is no easier access to digging yourself into a financial hole than those pesky little credit cards that make everything so easy. 47% of Americans carry a credit card balance paying an average of 20% interest. By the way, look at that number. That's about 2 times as much as what the stock market returns. If you think that you can pay out 2 times what investors are trying to earn in their pursuit of wealth and wealth creation, and think you're going to have money left over for yourself, you're living a lie. Most people now have almost $6,000 in monthly credit card balance, 8,000 plus for our seniors. When you get that little bill at the end of the month, the credit card company acts like they're your friend. They say, hey, you don't have to pay it all. Here's the minimum payment we'll accept this month. Well, if you're paying minimum payment, guess what? You're indebted to that bank for decades. Mathematically formulated to keep you in debt for decades. If you add up all of those minimum payments, you'll find out something very interesting. You're paying 3 times as much for everything that you ever bought simply by paying for it on a credit card and not paying the credit card off at the end of the month. So what do you do when you find yourself in a credit hole? Well, when you're in a hole, the first thing you do is stop digging. How do you do that? Do this little exercise. Every time you're ready to buy something on your credit card, ask yourself a simple question. If I paid 3 times the sticker price, do I still want it? Hopefully the answer is no. Put it back on the shelf and walk away. You will thank me later. The other things that people do that keep themselves from being wealthy is we just love to buy a brand new car, but there is nothing more financially unhealthy than the transformation of a new car into a used car. And that's why we say a new car is a bad idea. Let's look at the numbers. Average car loans, 6 years or more, and I have heard people going up to 12 years on a car loan, paying interest rates in excess of 6%, averaging around 10%. Dealers will advertise lower rates, but understand you're not getting that rate unless you have outstanding credit. They won't tell you that after 2 hours of negotiating the price of the vehicle until the end of the night when they walk you back and they sit you in front of the finance officer. He's the one that tells you that you don't qualify for the 2% loan that you saw on the TV commercial. But they'll ask you the one question that you should never ever answer when shopping for a used car? What kind of payment are you looking for? Well, you think that they're going to help you with that because they want to sell you a car. They want you to be happy with your deal. Just tell me how much you can afford and we'll see what we can do to work with you. Well, what that means is they're going to stretch your loan out from now till kingdom come to get that monthly payment down to the number that you were dumb enough to tell them you were willing to pay. It's not a matter of how much does it cost per month. It's the question of how much will all of my payments total when I finally pay this thing off. If you've got a car loan that is more than 3 years long, you are paying your car off slower than it is losing value. You are creating a gap between what you owe and what it's really worth and what the insurance company would pay you if you totaled it in an accident. To cover you, well, your new friend at the finance office puts an even more charge onto your bill called gap insurance. You have to cover the gap between what you owe and what it's worth, or we can't let you take the car. Well, that's just one more fee that adds nothing to the value of your car, but separates you from your money. Vehicles, oh, they're darn expensive. 48,000 for a new car, 67,000 for luxury models, and the biggest waste of all, the all-electric vehicles that average a starting price around 60,000, about $20,000 more than their gasoline counterparts. You have to skip an awful lot of gasoline fill-ups just to break even on an all-electric vehicle. They're the biggest scam on the road. Don't waste your money. A new car loses 17 to 20% of its value when it transforms from new to used. When does that happen? Well, that happens the second you drive it off the lot. It gets titled in your name, not the dealer's name. You put it on the road. It is now a used car. Only to you is it a new car. No one else would ever pay you what you agreed to pay the dealer for that car. Think about it this way. Buy a 4-year-old car and you're buying that car at almost half price. So a new car will lose half of its value in the first 4 years. And as you have a brand new car, guess what? That car belongs to the bank. It's not yours. And the bank wants their car protected. They just let you drive it while you pay for it. That means that there's higher insurance coverages that drive up your insurance premiums along with gap insurance. So the math is just flat out against you when you buy a brand new car. You're taking a long-term high interest loan for something that is constantly losing value and it's costing you in other ways like higher insurance rates. There is no way that you can pay out on a new car and think that you're coming out financially ahead. Just doesn't work. So what do we do? Well, there's ways to buy a car that makes sense. First and foremost, buy something that's practical and reliable. Remember that a vehicle is for transportation. It is not a status symbol. And if you think differently, well, that's probably why you're not wealthy. Choose something that is reliable, gets the job done, and that's all you should be willing to pay for. If you want to buy a newer vehicle, well, one good strategy is buy a 2-year-old manufacturer certified used car from that manufacturer's car lot. So if you're buying a used Honda, buy it from a Honda dealer. If you're buying a used Kia, buy it from a Kia dealer. Why? Well, there's many new warranties that go with a brand new car. It's part of the appeal of buying a brand new car. Many of those warranties apply only to the original owner. Once you sell it and someone else buys a used car, they may or may not get the factory warranties. The best way to ensure that factory warranties, such as powertrain warranties that are usually good for maybe 100,000 miles or the first 4 years of the car, the best way to ensure that you get those is you buy a manufacturer certified car, which means they inspected it before they sold it to you. It meets the factory standards. And when you buy it from that same manufacturer's lot, you take away their ability to tell you at the end of a very expensive repair, oh, by the way, it, the warranty's not going to cover it. So buy the manufacturer's certified car from that manufacturer's lot. You have the highest possibility of getting a factory warranty on your new late model vehicle that someone else paid most of the depreciation on before it got to you. It's a great little technique to get a good car at a best price. Pay cash for whenever for your vehicle whenever possible. If that's not possible, avoid a loan that's longer than 3 years. If you can't pay for your car in 3 years, chances are you're buying more car than you can actually afford. Get your financing ahead of time. Get pre-approved at a local credit union or online. What does that do for you? Well, it cuts out the guesswork as to what interest rate you're actually going to pay. It lets you know exactly how much you can actually afford, and then you can go shopping for the right practical model vehicle, and it keeps you from doing something stupid like ending up with a brand new car with a 10, 12-year car loan. And it also allows you to negotiate that vehicle as if it's a cash deal. Why is that important? Well, there's so many different ways for you to lose money buying a new car. Dealer prep fees, document fees, registration fees. I got a new pen on my desk fee. Hey, look at my new tie fee. There's so many fees that a new car dealer adds into the price of a car that has nothing to do with the actual value of the vehicle. When you negotiate as cash and you buy a used car, you eliminate all those areas for the dealer to pad in more profit. Profit only means money out of your pocket. Profit for them, losses for you. And by paying off a vehicle as fast as it's losing value, you avoid gap insurance. Once again, keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. What else do Americans do? Well, we have just got so much wasteful spending in our daily budget. Things that we buy we don't even think about anymore. That's just so routine. Well, routinely throwing money away is still throwing money away. So start packing your lunches at home. Don't go out to the bars. You don't need the jewelry and the tattoos and the $5 cups of coffee. If you're serious about fixing your financial situation, it's time for you to understand the difference between a need and a want. Separate your buying from between needs and wants. Get rid of the wants, focus on the needs, and pay as little as possible for a need. Do you need a coffee in the morning? Fine, brew it at home, 4 cents a cup, not $5 at your local Starbucks. Pack a lunch, so much cheaper than even the budget menu meals at fast food. And don't forget, coupons are literally like printing free money in a newspaper. Shop for things that are on sale, buy them in bulk, join bulk clubs like BJ's and Costco. Don't spend more than you absolutely need to, and only pay for things that you actually need until you get your finances straight and can afford some of the wants in your budget. If we're going to talk about how we spend our money, well, we certainly need to talk about how we earn our money. And one of the other things that is crippling Americans and keeping them from getting wealthy is the unforgivable student loan debt. You cannot escape a student loan even if you declare bankruptcy. It is an unforgivable loan. You have to pay that back no matter what. So, if you're going to pursue higher education, you need to make sure that your 4 to 5 year investment in time, spending mommy and daddy's life savings, and or taking on unforgivable loans means that there is something actually waiting for you in graduation day. You need to make sure that you're pursuing a field of study, a course of study, and a career path where there's actually jobs that pay off the investment that you made getting your college education. And keep in mind, too, there are many other pathways. College is not the only pathway. Excellent trade schools, even programs where you can earn and learn as an apprentice. So you can make money while you're learning. Always looking for the way to make yourself marketable. But if you pursue the student loans or the college route, you're going to take on average $30,000 in student loans, which leaves you in debt for 21 years. Make sure that you're choosing a path of study that's going to pay off and not put you $30,000 behind the starting line of life. All right, the other thing that we do, along with wasteful spending, consumer debt, etc., is failing to understand how investing works. So many people say, oh, this is just $1. I'll go to the dollar store and pick up a few knickknacks that you don't need. Well, it's just $1, right? Well, it really depends on how long you plan to have that dollar invested. Most people do not understand the time value of compounding interest. When you invest a dollar and it earns interest, next year you get a interest on the dollar and the interest. And the year after you get interest on the dollar and the interest and the interest. And you see that that kind of takes on a life of its own. It's a snowball effect. Compounding interest over time is the singular secret to wealth creation in America. So a $1 bill given to a 20-year-old, well, by the time he's 65, that's $88. To a 25-year-old, it's $44. Here's some quick math for you. Every time that a 25-year-old buys a Starbucks, that is a $200 loss to their 65-year-old self of what that $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 could have grown to. Every time you buy a cup of coffee, you've lost $200 out of your retirement. Now I hope you're thinking about things a little differently. And remember, it's not just a dollar. I'll give you this little exercise. This is always a lot of fun. It just repeats the last slide, but puts it into some practical terms. Imagine being an 18-year-old who puts away $4,000 a year in their retirement account. Well, $4,000 is the national average for investing in your individual retirement account for retirement. Do that from age 18 to 25, you will have put away $32,000, kind of not even the price of an average automobile, and you let that ride until you're 65, you will end up with 2.1 million, and that 2.1 million dollars is still generating 200,000 or more every year past age 65. So $32,000 invested when you're 25 is not the same thing as $32,000 invested when you're 40 or 50 or 55 years old. Time is everything when it comes to investing, and time is everything when it comes to debt. So instead of flipping that calculator around and saying, "Hey, here's how much I'm earning," if you're still carrying that long-term credit card, car payment, student loan debt, here's how much wealth I'm giving to the bank. The formula is the same. It just matters what side of the equal sign you choose to put yourself. So those are the road bumps on your financial journey. Most of it comes from a lack of discipline and a lack of financial education and thought process. You should be thinking finances on every dollar you earn and every dollar you spend. Start overcoming all of these roadblocks, and you will be on your way to a better financial journey. So now we know what's keeping you from getting rich in America. Everyone, I am Paul the Death Scouter. Please like and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos linked here, and I will always read and respond to your comments on my channel. I appreciate all my viewers. Thank you for watching. Hope you found this interesting, and if any of it hits home, it's time to make some changes. Have a great day. Bye-bye.